the gateway drug.
The gateway drug.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going viral now.
It's true. Wholesaling can take you to development, right?
And what's that going to be worth when it's done? Like the whole value of the project?
Fully stabilized, man. A couple $100 million.
Yeah. 200?
Yeah, something like that, maybe more. I would tell myself that time after time after time after time. No matter what it is, you just fucking keep going.
Welcome to another episode of Flippin SoFlo. This one to me is very special. We have T-Lev in the house, my boy Tal Levinson. For all you South Florida folks, he's very heavy into the real estate space, and we will get into that. He got started in 2015? 2015, so 2 years before me. He was just waiting for me to hop on in so we could become friends years down the road.
I was on that bus waiting for you.
He was on the energy bus just sitting and waiting. So appreciate you being here. Thank you. This has been a long time coming. This is going to be a fun one. Huge nuggets because this man moves very, very, very intelligently in real estate. But not only that, but he's one of the most humble people that I know for the level of success that he's had. He's just always stayed the same. I haven't seen him change. I've known him for 6 years now, which is wild. You're getting married like 2 months, right, from now?
Yeah, 2 months.
Almost to the day.
August 14th.
Holy shit, to the day. It's June 14th. You see that? That's how we like to plan things here at the RF headquarters. You know what I'm saying? Before we get into like the nitty gritty, he's going to talk about what it looks like today, what your business looks like today. Also, fun fact, his business partner is another one of my best friends, Eric. You and him go way back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how long have you guys known each other?
Eric and I have known each other since we were 9 years old.
That's a long time.
Yeah, man.
Okay, we're 34.
25 plus years.
Yeah, that's a quarter of a century.
Yeah,
That's quite a while. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say it doesn't get more diapers than that.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, you guys have probably the best partnership I've ever seen, like in terms of longevity, complementary, understanding one another.
Right.
Like you both really,
100%.
you ride your lane. Like.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we always, operate on the same frequency
as
far as, work ethic, consistency and stuff like that. So, we're definitely like-minded when it comes to a lot of those different things. And like you mentioned, the complementary aspect of it, he's better at, numbers and systems and stuff like that. I'm better at, people and negotiations and things like that. So together as a unit, we're definitely something special.
It's deadly. It's deadly. Yeah. Well, let's go back briefly to the beginning. I mean, you got started in 2015, right? A lot of the guys and girls that watch this are aspiring entrepreneurs or, hey, largely in real estate. They want to get started in wholesaling. They just got started or whatever. Maybe they're a couple years in, right? They're us 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it is. We do remember what it was like, right? It was a different time, first of all, at least in my opinion. Oh, yeah. It was pre-COVID and post-COVID. It's two different worlds,
100%.
I'm very happy that we got to ride before, and then it was a real market, right. And then I just called it like fairy tale world after, 100%. And then it became like a real market again, and you had to pivot. But started in 2015. I want the people to know how you got started, but also that it wasn't fancy, because it wasn't. We got started in the same way, but how'd you guys get started?
Well, let me go back a little bit even further. So when I first got into real estate, this was in 2015, right? Mm-hmm. And I got licensed as a realtor. The goal, the ending goal was always to get to this point. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. And I knew that the gateway was to get my license and just get my feet wet.
Right.
So I got licensed. I joined a real estate team, and it was one of those traditional brokerages. They deal with a lot of listings, buyers, Zillow-fed lead model, and things like that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
And in 2015, which the market's like way different.
Yeah, way different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was typically working with more buyers and sellers too. So as you can imagine, you're a rookie agent. You're doing a lot of showings. You know what I'm saying? It's, placing offers every 2 seconds. A lot of them are getting accepted. Buyers are dropping off, deciding to either continue renting or whatever it is. So it's not really an encouraging market for someone that's just starting.
Yeah.
So eventually, like around 14, 15, 16 months after that, I did pretty well, and I want to say I probably closed around 26 deals.
That's great.
And again, most of them were buying leads, so it
even
was
harder.
A very, very difficult time.
Yeah.
And then look, we talk about like ROT all the time.
Yeah.
Like return on time. With all due respect, right, to anyone that's doing anything that's real estate related, I think that the best ROT for your time is investments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my personal perspective, right? So then once I realized how valuable my time was being an agent, I was like, all right, I need to figure out how I can make more money with my time. And that's why I wanted to get into investments. So then me and Eric linked up, and because we had a lifelong friendship, we're always talking about doing business with one another. We just, again, we didn't know how. I had a background in real estate. He had a background in finance coming out of UF. And we just decided to get together and put a plan together and figure out how this whole flipping thing works, right?
So you wanted to get into flips, not wholesaling.
We didn't know about wholesaling at the time.
That's right. That's right.
We didn't even know wholesaling existed.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah. So we literally got together, and then I remember we're just sitting. We're like, all right, we know what we want to do. We know we want to make a lot of money, but we don't know how to fucking get there.
Yeah.
So then we started like reading books. We went to Bria, Howard. With Anish, shout out to Anish, and we did the boot camp and stuff like that, and we had a little bit of an idea, but we didn't really fully understand what we had to do right away. But we just dove right into it, and our first method of marketing and lead gen in general was to door knock pre-foreclosure leads.
All right, so let's stop there for a second because this one's gonna be fun. I got started door knocking in Liberty City, pre-foreclosures, and I could say that it is. Would you agree that it's a shotgun way to get started, to say the least?
Yeah. Literally and metaphorically. Like, people can literally take out shotguns. Right
yeah. Especially depending on what neighborhoods you're in, which I'm assuming you weren't in the nice neighborhoods doing this.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, you know the profile of a pre-foreclosure seller, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's not the best. I mean, typically, they're not all there sometimes.
Yeah.
And their living conditions aren't the best. Their level of desperation is high.
Yeah.
So then when you come and you knock on their door unexpectedly, they're just like, who the fuck are you?
That's right? A lot of fun.
And then you're trying to like convince them or try to work out a deal with them where, they can go to a better situation, but they're thinking that they're going to have to let go of their most prized, possession, which is
a lot of emotion there. Yeah.
Big time, because they're just connected to the property.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? You're not the first and you're not the last person that goes to their door. Hopefully you're the last.
Hopefully.
But then, you know what I mean? You have to really like stand out when you do that.
So did you have a lot of money, both of you at that time? Did you have any money?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both, because look, we were around 25 years old, so we didn't really have that much money. We had like maybe a couple $100,000 each, it's a pretty decent amount.
Yeah. But your own money.
But our own money.
Not like, hey, silver spoon.
No silver spoon. No, we had our own money, and the first deal that we decided to purchase was a condo, and it was for $190,000. So we were like literally, we were scrapping our money together, and we knew that if this didn't work, and like if for whatever reason it wasn't a success, if we lost money, the gig was over.
Someone's moving into the condo.
Dude, that's what's happening. Done with real estate. He goes doing what he does, and that's it.
Yeah. But he was a corporate guy too. He was, like me. He was an accountant by nature.
Yeah.
Like I forgot, it was Deloitte. I'm not sure, but he's working in Miami.
Came with the EY.
Yeah.
Ernst &
EY.
Young.
That's right.
Right. So it's like one of those things. It's a little ballsy. You're leaving corporate America for him.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it wasn't so ballsy because I'm just more of like I have this like go with the flow like entrepreneurial attitude. So if this doesn't work, I'll figure something else out.
Well, you were selling stuff at the mall, like you had a couple stores, like the hoverboard thing.
Oh, yeah. So I was doing a lot of different gigs before I got into real estate.
Black Sea, all this kind of stuff going on, the lotions and all that.
Nah, I didn't get
No, I'm just kidding. No. He's Israeli, but not that Israeli.
No, not like that. But I think you guys remember back like in 2013, 14, 15, there was a craze with the hoverboards. And that's when drones really started getting popular and stuff like that. So long story short, I made a lot of contacts in China, and I would bring a lot of containers over of different types of merchandise. And then what I would do is I would wholesale it to my competitors. And then I already had like strategic placements in malls where I had like different storefronts and kiosks and stuff like that. And I think 2014 was my best year. I had 15 locations, and there was a shortage with the hoverboards. So it's just so funny because everybody was coming to me for hoverboards. And I was just jacking up the price and just, making my lick on that, and while still selling a retail around the holiday time.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, but after that, that's when I made most of my money, because then I came into real estate with a couple $100,000 saved up from that. Yeah. So it paid it. It's, I guess, is not paid. It's whatever. It did its thing for me. Along the way.
Yeah, no. But I think the most important thing is like the opportunity struck. You were ready to go.
100%.
You didn't think about it. You're like, oh, let me get my ducks in a row. Oh, maybe I'll dabble in it. You went all the way.
Yeah, we talk about like just compounding in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one step in my story. You know what I mean? You get this done, put an X amount of energy and time into it, collect the funds that you need to from that, so you can move on to the next thing and hopefully move at a faster pace.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, bro, I don't think it can be like overstated, myself included. I'm just a firm believer, and I know you are too, that you're either going to do something 100% or you're not going to do it at all.
100%.
Like, you and I are very similar in that regard. We don't have an off switch. It's all the way on or all the way off.
Oh, yeah.
There's no dimmer.
And to your point, it's not even 100%. It's like,
yeah, it's like 1,000.
It's like 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to commit to something,
correct.
Like, fuck that. I know what 100 is, but I want to show up and do 200-300.
Yeah. Well, because you know the next guy's not going to do it.
No.
And that's the whole thing. And again, just the word is commitment. Like when you commit, you commit.
Without a doubt.
And that's what I want people to take away. You listen to me. It sounds very similar to me, right? In the mentality of it, which is if you're going to do it, right? I see a lot of people dibble-dabbling in shit. And they're always like, oh, let me think about it, and what if, and blah, blah, blah. Dude, we're like already gone, right. Through 2 walls, and right. We're like, oops, what happened? Whatever. Right. You didn't even stop to think about like, hey, the condo, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you just did the thing. So what happened with the condo? You
got to take a risk. You got to move, because if you think about it too much, you're probably not going to end up doing it.
Right? Yeah, damn right. What happened with the condo?
So it was funny. We again, like I said, it was a pre-foreclosure lead. It's a funny story. It was full circle moment. You understand this. We'll get into it after. It was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So ironically enough, that was our first deal. It was in a building where the front door would always be locked. There's like a little digipad, to contact whoever is renting or owning or whatever. And we couldn't get in. But when we looked in the directory, we actually saw someone that went to high school with us.
No kidding.
Yeah. Shout out Samantha. And called her on there. She's like, fuck, like, what do you... Okay. And she, let us in. So we went upstairs, whatever, door knocked, did our thing, won the seller over, and then ended up getting under... I just want to give, a background to that so people can understand, you got to do whatever it takes to get the fucking deal. I don't care.
Very important.
You know what I mean? Especially when you're just starting out. But anyways, we got into contract, and this was a unique situation because the seller needed a post-occupancy for a year.
Whoa.
So he can figure a lot of things out. Yeah, he was a witty guy, so he negotiated that in. But we knew that the market value after repairs and all that was going to be close to $300. So for us, 2 young guys coming into it, it's a condo.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? Buy-in price is $190. Probably have to put $20-$30K into it. We're thinking shit. All right, we'll wait a year. Maybe we can figure out some marketing stuff along the way. And that's exactly what happened after he got out, which he got out a little bit early. Ended up fixing it up a little bit and selling it and making a decent profit.
No kidding. So your first deal wasn't a clean rip, hey, we made $100,000 right off the bat or $50,000 or whatever. You actually wrote it for a year.
We wrote it for a year.
Do you know what's crazy? My first deal ever, I wrote it for a year in a lawsuit. It turned into a list pendants. So my first contract ever was Lisa and Carl Davin, I'll never forget, in Cooper City, and that was the same thing. And we didn't end up closing for a year, but we kept going.
Right. So
you move on. You guys kept going with the door knocking and all that kind of stuff, right? So how do you get from there to 2016, 2017? You and I meet 2019. We'll get to that in a second because it's just a hilarious story. The first moment that we met, right. The attitudes, the personalities, and I mean, well, shout out to EP on that one. But it was a long night. And you know what's crazy? The same night you and I met is the same night that Savannah and I met. Within an hour apart, which is it's wild that we're all still here. I don't know how she keeps coming back, but she stays around. No, I'm just kidding. We love her. So you start to build by 2017, 2018. You're 2-3 years in the game, right? What's going on at that time?
Sure. So let me go back for a second. So our first deal was a condo, and it's through pre-foreclosure, and we started seeing success. The next deal was a single-family home flip. We made $83,000 on it. Next one was another single-family flip, and we made $60K on it. So you have to understand, 2 young guys coming into real estate, fortunate, lucky enough to have some successes, and we're making money right away. We're like, oh shit, we need to go all in on this, without a doubt. So it was just Eric and I, and we actually we leased a car, and it was a Hyundai, a blue Hyundai. I still have a picture I'll show you guys. And we would literally just ride around, a couple hours every day, and then we would have a list of foreclosure properties, and we would we would prioritize it based off of the foreclosure sale date and how much equity was in the property. And him and I would just go and knock and do our thing. And it got to the point where it started becoming, more of a system. We started hiring some friends. People saw that we were making money. People want to get real estate. And so we're leveraging our time by bringing more people to start doing that for us. And that's when things really started to become systemized. So to speak. Now, fast forwarding to your question to 2016, 2017, 2018, that's when we started, actually like leasing an office space, bringing on more people for acquisitions, bringing on a transaction coordinator. Around 2018 is when we actually realized what wholesaling was. And I remember we're just like, what the fuck? It's like we just found out, like what's like the most amazing thing.
Fire was invented.
Like, so you're telling me I don't have to go and door knock, and I don't have to buy it, and I don't have to fix
Swing a hammer and all this shit.
And I don't have to like put it on the market. I could just sell it before anything.
Yeah, like for everybody watching too, man, like starting off at fix and flips, that's not easy. No. like starting off in wholesaling is not easy, but there's a lot less risk in that involved. And, you added like so many layers of complexity without knowing it, right? But like you don't know what you don't know, which is the beauty of like all these young guys that watch this stuff. Right. But they're like, oh, I'm like, bro, the less you know, the better. Like, especially starting out. I don't know if you agree, but like, dude, grab a list, get in your car, start door knocking. Everything else will figure itself out.
You talk about this also, like analysis paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You start thinking about too many different things. What's the best way to do it? But you're not going to do anything. Just
you're going to theorize all day.
Figure out something that works for you. Put a plan together and just fucking go.
That's right. So starting out with fix and flipping, not easy. He finds out wholesaling after the fact.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, this is a lot easier in theory, which it is. It really is. From a risk perspective, so much better. You don't have a hard money lender. You don't have a private money lender. Whatever it is, you don't have to put up the money. Babysitting contractors, which I hate fix and flips. You know that. You were always way better at fix and flipping than I was, and I'll give you that badge happily because I just don't like them.
Yeah, it's not fun though.
No, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
You can make a lot of money on it. Don't get me wrong. Like my mom does it, and she does a great job. Just I think there's certain personalities for it, and I think if you do not systemize it, if it's a hobby, you got a really high paying job, and it sucks. Because when things go wrong, I mean, you have all the risk of the city and the loans, and when I tell guys that are wholesaling and they're doing well, I tell them every single time. Whenever I see them kind of like, hey man, kind of want to get into flipping, I'm like, don't. For what?
Yeah.
Like unless you can answer that question to me with a really good answer, no.
Not at first, at least.
No.
You know what I mean? Get your feet wet, start getting some deals, start making some money. And then eventually, if you want to get to that point, even partner up with people, maybe that makes sense. But not when you first start.
No, dude, it's bro. You're adding like the difference between a fix and flip, for example, and a wholesale. It's like 254 steps in a fix and flip, and there's like 67 in a wholesale. Right. So just by nature, it's so many times harder than what that is. Plus the money and the risk and all that stuff. So by 2018, you guys you got like a little team. You got an office in Hollywood.
Yeah. So our first office was in Hollywood, and then by 2018 we went to Cooper City.
Okay.
In our first office, just to give you guys some context, it was a little tiny box. It was like 120 square feet.
Me too.
Still have a picture of that. It was me and Eric. Two little tiny desks, just hitting the phones.
Facing apart from each other.
Oh, literally, yeah.
So you wouldn't yell.
We had bandit signs on the wall.
Yeah.
Whiteboards with like acquisition, marketing, cost per lead, this, that, figuring shit out.
Yeah.
And then the Cooper City office, which was in 2018, was much bigger. That was like 1,000, 1,200 square feet.
It's a big upgrade.
That to us was like, we felt like, holy shit.
We made it.
We're doing this.
Yeah.
You come in, there's a reception area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a bathroom. You go, there's acquisitions. There's
a bathroom now.
We have private offices. You don't have to look at each other all day.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's a big transition.
It was cool, and it was very gratifying, and we knew we were doing the right thing, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So we meet. This is all pre-COVID too, which is crazy, right? Like guys, this is all pre-COVID. Okay. The world is going to change in a second here, and we'll talk about that. Because we actually really became really close friends, all three of us, during COVID, and we'll get to that. But we meet in 2019. So I think it was May of 2019, if I'm not mistaken, because that's when Savannah and I met. What was that? I mean, just tell the people what that night was like. I know it's the greatest night of your life, but please try to downplay it.
Dude.
Please.
Literally, like, lights everywhere, fireworks in the background. No, it was... Music is just, like, slow motion, like a movie scene.
Careless Whispers playing. Go ahead. Yeah, you drop George Michael's face somewhere here.
Oh, man. No, but it was I mean, obviously, it was just like any other night. You know, it's
at the time.
Couple young guys out in Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale. You know what I mean? Just bar hopping, drinking, not really thinking about much. And then I gave VP a call. I was like, hey man, you know, where you at? Let's go meet up, whatever. And then he told me he was with you, and I didn't know who you were obviously at the time. Yeah. And then I remember we met up at American Social.
Yep.
And Will and I, at least the old versions of ourselves, we used to have a good time. We used to take a lot of shots, drink, you know, just like most people do.
A lot of James.
And we bonded through that. We tried to outdo each other, you know, by drinking that night. But then we cultivated a very nice bond.
Yeah. I remember we were walking over. So keep in mind, this is crazy shit. Many moons later, at that time, I'm leaving a bar called Balcony. I had just met the girl that would now, today, be my fiance. I'm with EP. Shout out to EP. I don't know how you did that, but you're the common denominator between all these friendships. EP tells me, yo, let's go meet my boy Tal at AMSO. He's a big real estate guy. You'll like him. And I was like, who the fuck is Tal, dude? Like, literally what I told him, I was like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, I'm fucking dope in real estate. Like, whatever. Like, typical cocky shit. And we sit down. I was like, what's up, man? Hey, what's going on, man? And you were sitting at AMSO. I think it was the outside table or something.
Yep.
And right away, I just kind of like, we checked each other. It was like dogs sniffing each other's asses for a second. And we were like, well, you want to take a shot? What's going on? And boom, boom, boom. Dude, I don't even know how many Jamesons. I used to drink back then. How many Jamesons later, but we clearly hit it off. And I knew right away. I was like, this dude's not full of shit. He's the real deal. But, you know, you have that energy kind of thing. And then you told me about Eric. And then, you know, we all kind of met after the fact. Right. Eric is super quiet. He's very introverted. It's complete opposite of you. Right. Very analytical. And great guy. But, you know, we hit it off there too. And, you know, then COVID, you know, that was 2019. Started hanging out. And this goes to show you guys, like, the point that I'm trying to make is we were competitors. I mean, we were direct competitors. There was no question about it. He was a little bit further ahead than I at the time. But we both ran operations. We're both marketing in the same areas. Same sellers. I mean, there's not really much of a difference. Same personalities, you know, we're trying to make money, right? Just like you guys. But one thing I just want to highlight on, we always shared openly. We never hid anything from each other. We always try to help each other. Like, yo, I'm doing this. Oh, wow. I didn't think of that. Oh, well, what about that? Did you think about that? Oh, no, shit. I didn't think about that. Strategy, whatever it was, contacts, etc. And that's how I knew personally. These guys are on the same wavelength, and we're going to be friends for a long time. Not just because we got along so great, but we openly were cool like that. And I think you know, so many people are like, oh, like, I don't want to tell them what I'm doing. Dude, that's such stupid. Like, there's no finite amount of resources that there are out there.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, look, I think all of us share, you know, an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
And I think coming into COVID, we understood that it was better to collaborate than to compete. You know, in many ways, we would share different data lists.
It's a great quote.
It's all facts. You reach us all the time, right?
Yeah. Amateurs compete. Always. Professionals collaborate.
You know, we would share different data lists, different marketing strategies, which postcards work, which don't. You know, and keep in mind, it wasn't just helping each other with the businesses. Even though we're competitors, there's more than enough in the market for all of us to do well. It was holding each other accountable every single morning by meeting up and going for runs. I think it was like at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
We literally every single day during COVID.
Yeah.
We would all meet up at the same point, just run to, I think, Starbucks, and then get a coffee, and then walk back together and talk
Rio
about
Vista.
Rio Vista.
Yeah. We were manifesting too, bro. Like, all three of us would run. We would run through Rio Vista. It's a very ritzy little area of Fort Lauderdale. Look at the house. Remember the house with the gas lamps? We were like, holy shit, these people have gas lamps. Like, it's dope. How rich do you have to be to have a gas lamp?
24/7.
Yeah, like yeah, dude. And yeah. And I remember, keep in mind, when COVID hits, we already had real estate operations. Dude, not gonna lie, it was a little crazy, like, at the beginning.
It was nuts.
We were like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, yeah. And every day, which is dope, we had a mini mastermind, basically, is what we had. But Eric used to live in the building I used to live in. His partner, I moved in after him. So we were like 6 floors apart. I get a dog during COVID. He gets a dog during COVID. Now the dogs are best friends. Now we're all just hanging out. There's nothing to do, really. Yeah. Like, sellers are not selling their homes for a period of time. I'm talking about right from March to like August, right? funky time. Interest rates are bonkers. I remember we used to watch the stock market, and it was a disaster. Every day the airlines were trading for like $5 a share. Right. The inspectors couldn't get in the homes. The whole mass shit started happening. We couldn't go out to eat. We started getting really into wine, which is a whole other conversation because we were bored. Buyers were backing out.
Yeah.
You remember buyers were giving us $10,000 escrows. Yeah. And they're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not taking the risk.
They don't take the risk.
Yeah. Which is wild to me.
They thought that property values could just drop at like,
So did we for a little bit.
100%.
We were like, I remember we were talking to each other, and I remember I was like, dude, I think this is the big one.
Right.
I was like, dude, this is 08. Right. And God, we were so wrong in that regard.
Oh my God. I mean, the second things popped off, it was freaking Christmas every month.
But do you remember, and let's see if you do, I remember this moment like it was yesterday, dude. There was a very pivotal moment, and what I want the viewers to get from this one, him and I and Eric made my ex-partner, we made one decision. That's why I always say it's like one decision can change your life. One fucking decision at that time that later ended up catapulting us into the largest wholesalers in South Florida. There's no question. We were neck and neck there. And that decision was, we were talking one morning and we're like, dude, what are we going to do? Like, what do you think this is going to go? And I don't remember exactly who said it, but I do remember the conversation was, hey, we're going to double and triple down on marketing because we're going to take this fucking market share. And we were watching other competitors that have been in the game longer than us. Bro, these guys were on Instagram, closing up shop, selling shit on Instagram, desks, firing people. Mm-hmm. We hired a lot of their people. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, in any market, man, there's a winner and there's a loser. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I do remember that we all three basically decided to, hey, we're going to double and triple down, which was completely counterintuitive to what anybody would have said. Right? And then what happened 6 months later?
Yeah, I mean, look, to your point, I mean, luckily enough, we're all, well capitalized at that point to take those risks at the time.
Sure.
And we saw a lot of people back out, people that we thought kind of like looked up to also just fizzled away.
Right.
People that had teams. All of a sudden, people were just looking for a job, like you mentioned. But we kept it together, and, we ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah. All hell broke loose for us. Right. I mean, I just remember, like, we built up such a big pipeline, and I know you did too, where all those pent up 500, 600, 700 leads, it's like they all decided to start selling at the same time.
Yeah. People didn't know what to do. And even with the deals that we had where people were backing out, we're taking escrows, the sellers would understand that we would need more time.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's like, there's a freaking epidemic. You're not going to give us more time. You know what I'm saying? So that made things easier for us, and we collected some dollars along the way. And then eventually we would resell those deals and then fill in the pipeline with more deals. So, it's just position yourself as well as possible.
Yeah. And again, if you see an opportunity, because we didn't plan for COVID, obviously, and we could have been, the moral of the story is we came into COVID as small players. By 2021, we were the number one, number two, number one, whatever, and neck, best wholesale operations in South Florida. There was no question. Yeah. I think you guys did how much in 2021?
Man.
Was it 8?
It's close to 8.
Yeah, we did 7.9, and like I remember we went out to the wharf one night, and we were like, "Damn, we missed each other by like $200,000 or some shit." And bro, that's wild. Like,
it's insane.
We never ran into each other. Yeah. On deals.
I mean, call it whatever you want to call it. It's a universe, man.
It's fucking wild.
And it's crazy to your point. Like, it takes like some sort of like a crazy world event like this to happen to have that dynamic shift.
Yes.
You have all these players that were previously in the market.
Boom.
Coming out. We're stepping up. We're leveling up. That's just how it goes.
If you're willing to put your balls on the table, the market will always reward you. That's all I'm saying.
Without a doubt.
That's all I'm saying. And by 2022, it was too late. People couldn't catch us if they tried. I mean, they tried. Then all those guys tried running back in, and it was like, dude, once you get that momentum, once you compound, it was over.
No, it's done. It's a done deal.
I mean, like me personally, I think we went from 5 deals a month to like 15.
Right.
At one point, and then it just never stopped. Right. It was wild.
But the beautiful thing is, it wasn't just what was happening with that shift that we mentioned. It was also making the right hires.
Yeah.
Continuously systemizing our processes, and spending more money on marketing and stuff like that.
Investing in yourself too.
And just constantly leveling up.
You guys were going to events.
Yep.
You were paying for events. I was paying for events. Always sharing ideas and shit, new resources. You know, you guys started closing with Gus. I had made that intro, and again, it's all about your resources and your network, that kind of stuff. I drafted Gio into Gus's office, and that was a pretty I'll take credit for that one. That was a really good one. Yeah. Like that was bing, because Gio came in on the legal side, and Gus was happy as shit. Yeah. You know, and now Gio's on his own, which is awesome. He opened up his own. You made
a lot of investors happy with that one.
I did. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. No one even knew that it was me other than you guys. Yeah. Like, I sat at Lobster Bar, and I felt really cool. I was like, wow, this is what it's like to be a power broker.
Yeah, huh? I remember right before it happened, and then, like, you were telling me about it. I was talking to Gio about it, and I'm like, this is fucking great.
You're like, please.
This is great. Everything under one friggin' house. Let's go.
Yeah, just so you guys know, like, at that time, Gus, he'd been running a title company forever. He's awesome, but he wasn't willing, and I get it, right? It wasn't his business model to do, like, probates past a certain point, evictions, specific performance lawsuits, like things that we really needed, especially when you get to scale. Gio was working for another firm, wasn't really happy, but he would do all those things. He was like the trial or the legal side of that stuff. He master at probates, foreclosures, evictions, right? LPs, that kind of stuff. Torturous interference for all the dipshits in South Florida that want to circumvent deals. We know all too well. And you know, I ended up connecting him and Gus, and that was a match made in heaven. And then all of a sudden now we were like, oh shit, we don't have to go anywhere else to close our deals. So a lot of people think that it's all the big moves, like, you know, oh, we're spending an extra $50K a month to make more money. It's really just the little things. Oh, yeah. It's those little tweaks where it's like, man, you just become more efficient here, more efficient there, more efficient 100%. There. Yeah.
Better contacts, better verbiage in your contracts.
Yeah, we learned that through COVID too.
Oh my God.
The addendums.
You look at our additional terms now, man, fucking, you know what I mean? Almost every single situation we're covered. So it's great. I mean, but that's like the constant pursuit of self-improvement, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.
Yeah. And all these little young Thundercats out there. I see these contracts floating around. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. That's all I got to say. Him and I probably designed a lot of that shit. The assignments, the A to Bs, the 3-pagers.
All the different verbiage.
I see it. Clauses. I know when I see my contract, when I see it. It's like the per diem, all the assignment, the inspection period starting on inspection, when it's accessed. Don't, you know, 100%. Don't fuck around. We made all that stuff, but we learned it, you know, trial by fire, you know. What was your favorite part about, because I don't know about you, but to me, it felt like that. Like, it felt like a blur. It also is because we were going out a lot at the time, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, man, I mean, what was your favorite part of all that? Like that 2020 to 2022, like that 2-year window.
You're saying in general, from like a business perspective?
Yeah, from a business perspective, but in general as well.
I think it was an interesting time. I mean, most of us were single, right?
Yeah.
So we were all hanging out with each other, going out a lot, having a good time, while building our businesses and making money. So for young guys to be in that position, I mean, what's better in South Florida, right?
Nah, nothing better.
As long as you don't go too crazy. But
guilty.
Me too. But it's a part of.
Yeah, you and I together was a problem. But anyway, it was fun.
Look at us now, though.
Yeah, we are. We're both taken now. All right.
That's it.
Yeah, he's up to deck first. He's gonna get married in August. I'm next year, but I did get engaged and it was awesome. Yeah. Keep going.
No, so it's, I mean, just being able to succeed in the business and continuously grow and add, keep pieces and just focus on the future and just keep really good friends around me, that help me get more motivated and stay energized and uplift me.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just think back to that time, dude, and I smile just like this because it was a bunch of, look, there's no better feeling. It's great to make money, when you come from nothing and you've been paying those dues for 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is. And all of a sudden you start to make real money for the first time where you're like, wow, I'm having consistent 6-figure months. That's life-changing, first of all, okay? You're 29, 30, that's what we were at the time. Dude, but it's a whole nother thing when you have a set of 4 or 5 friends that at the same time are doing the same exact shit, are in your business, so we all understand each other. It wasn't like you were, I don't know, a nurse, and we were like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Right.
We were living the same shit every day. We were going through the same pain points, getting fucked by this guy or an employee or whatever it was. But all of a sudden now we're making some serious money for the first time. The world's your oyster. And, you know, buying all the stupid shit too, and the cars and the watches and stuff, which is cool. But life changed a lot, man. You know, we watched, like, damn, I think back at it now and I'm like, man, we watched each other grow up in a big sense. And we were always able to maintain a great friendship, which is that at least that was my favorite part, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Of all that.
I think one of the biggest things, you know, when I look back at it is like, you know, we always, look, we're human, first of all. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to go through our trials and tribulations. You know, you have to go through some things. You have to let things break along the way. You have to fuck up. You have to get to the lowest of lows to then reinvent yourself and get to the point you want to get to. And you and I have had multiple conversations about doing that. You know what I mean? And there's no shame in it. You know what I mean?
I'm the valedictorian of that.
Dude,
class.
it happens. It fucking happens. But it's not a matter of, like, getting there and getting stuck and feeling bad for yourself. It's getting the fuck up and then fixing your problems and then moving on. And that's what it was. And I think we... you know, we would see that in each other, you know what I mean? We just wanted that constant pursuit of, you know, becoming better and reinventing ourselves. And I think we did just that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took a little bit, but we got there.
I think we left a great mark in South Florida real estate. And we're still, I mean, it's not like we're fucking 80. We are still
oh my God,
leaving massive
we're just getting
marks.
started. So Will and I would work out together all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we would share our frustrations of how much more we wanted.
Squat Doctor, shout out to
you know,
Squat
how much more we wanted in every aspect, right?
Yeah.
But mainly in business, we want to do greater things. We feel like we're on this planet to do bigger things.
Yeah.
Even though when you would, you know, see at our, you know, look at our track record and what we've built so far, it's incredible. Most people would dream to be in that position.
Agreed.
But for whatever reason, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a beautiful thing to have two people that can, you know, motivate each other and say, hey,
yeah, man,
look at what you did, but there's still a lot more to go.
Yeah, dude, I learned a lot from you. I still learn a lot from you. But also, it's nice to have a friend that can be a sounding board, that not just like, oh yeah, man, I can imagine, or like, yeah, I understand. It's like, no, you don't. You know, like sometimes there's friends where it's like, bro, I love you, but you don't get the fuck I'm going through. You know, like you don't know what this is like, bro. You don't know what it's like to make payroll or to be on your ass in 6 projects, and you're like, holy shit, I don't know how the fuck we're gonna make it out of this one. But yet somehow, some way, you know, you make it out. But when you have somebody who's always pushing too, and I told you this on your birthday one year, like, you know, you've always been that guy that I'm like, all right, I can push, you know, I can push, and I love to see you push because it makes me want to push harder. And with Eric too, you know, Eric's not here, but like Eric pushes too, bro. And the other thing I'll tell you, man, I am forever grateful. Like, it's beautiful, and I hope you feel the same from my side, but it's beautiful to be able to tell someone you're like a success you had or whatever, and they are genuinely happy for you.
100%.
You're like, you're a fucking savage. Good shit.
You know what's crazy though? You're 100% right. It's like, you don't really have that many people you can share that with that will genuinely be happy for you.
Very few.
Sometimes not even family members, sometimes not even, you know, childhood friends.
Yeah.
So just the fact that like I can literally sit with you and be so freaking happy for you for what you built and vice versa is so rare.
Yeah,
so
man.
rare.
Yeah. No, it's more often than not the envy and the shit, and you know, you learn. I mean, you know my story and my journey on that side. You know, I had to go through that, and I'm grateful for it because you know you had to go there to get here. But yeah, I saw a lot of people that were very, very close to me go, you know, during a time. But you always stuck around, Eric, you know, EP, all those kind of guys. I mean, obviously Savannah and all that. As I rebuilt, you were also one of the first ones, other than Savannah, to say you need to get out there and you need to be in the education space. You know, you need to start making content.
Oh yeah.
You need to. The world needs a little bit of you.
100%.
And I appreciate that.
No, because you just have too much, you know, too much to give, too much energy.
Thank you.
For you to just keep it inside.
It's a problem.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't understand this, and I know you talk about like this misconception of what people think about you sometimes of maybe being arrogant or whatever. I don't think people understand that that's not really your intention. I think that's just, you know, that's just like the way you're getting into things. That's what pushes you forward. But your true intention deep down is to help people help themselves.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's literally what you stand for. And
thank you.
Sometimes people are not so receptive to the rough message.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but you're a bitch if that's how you're gonna take it.
There's a lot of fairies out there.
Yeah, if people can't come to you and box it up and present it to you so nicely, you have to learn the hard way sometimes. And you have to push. And if you're not ready for that, I'm not sure you're ready to put yourself in a position to win.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's good that they hear it from somebody else. Listen, if I bug you that much, then just don't even get in entrepreneurship.
No, 100%.
You're gonna get rocked by a lot of other things. Like I'm the least of. Like I do it from a place that's how I learned. But that's all you know me, bro. You know me for a long time. I've gotten my ass handed to me more times than Rocky Balboa in the movies. like, dude, I've got my ass handed to me, and a lot of the times I've been the one handing my own ass to myself. But, dude, you got to keep going. Yeah. You see me come out of that shit.
I'm gonna drop a little line here, and I hope it makes sense. But when you come off like that, it's a reflection of all the hardships and all the crazy shit that you've been through.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's not how you're trying to come off. And most people that listen to this, they'll deal with the slightest bit of complexity or a difficult situation and they'll fucking back up. Yeah. And they won't do anything. And they won't move forward and they won't try again. No. Guys, you have to understand, this shit doesn't come easy. No. You have to go through a lot of crazy shit. You have to fail a bunch of times. Yeah. And sometimes when you come out of it, you're not going to be the most political fucking person. You say all the right things because you've been conditioned through all this shit.
Yeah,
everyone has a different way of saying things,
Yeah, like Cody Alford says, he's like, you're a weathered man.
100%.
I am a very weathered man.
That's why you have zero tolerance for bullshit and all that, because you've literally ran through all these different things, and you've paved the way for a lot of these young guys, and people have to understand that that's why you're coming off like this, is because you want people to just stop the bullshit, not make excuses, and just show up and fucking go to work.
I just don't want to waste time, bro. I don't want to waste other people's time. I don't want to waste. Certainly not my time. I know, when you know what it's like to be a champion or on a championship team or whatever it is, you also know the other side, right? Because we both built this business from absolutely nothing. You've earned it. Yeah. You've earned it. Yeah. I'm not out there, again, I'll never demean anybody or anything like that, but if you're a dipshit, I'll call you a dipshit. If you're eating shit and you're being a pussy about shit. Yeah. I will give it to you.
And it's all perspective too, because if something is true, right, about you not doing something the right way or as best as possible, and someone's telling you this in your face and you don't like it, what does that tell you about yourself?
Yeah, it means you got a problem with you.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
And we've been through it too, like, hello, we do have mentors. We do have people that have been like, yo, Tal, yo, Will, you're eating shit.
Yeah, like, what the fuck are you
doing?
You're
like, yeah, I am. But again, you pivot and you move through. Exactly. COVID was a great example. COVID, I've always said this. I believe the marketplace is undefeated. Would you agree? 100%. The market never loses, right? Mm-hmm. We lose. But people that try to go against the market, that's a losing battle. That's Mike Tyson in his prime. You're going to get knocked the fuck out. Right. But when COVID's happened, or whatever it is, when interest rates started rising fast after COVID, we saw it happen. I mean, how many guys did we know, and girls too, but how many people did we know that came into the business from 2020 to early 2022 that by mid 2022 were getting their asses absolutely handed to them? Yeah. Why? Because they lived in a fairy tale world. And ARVs were going up by 20, 30%, like clockwork. And I know, we were selling houses to people that did not have any business being in real estate, but all of a sudden now they went to some weekend workshop, good for you, and now they're geniuses. And the problem is that the market was rewarding them for the stupidity. Right. Now when a market shifts and becomes a real market again, which we had been through, a house, a fix and flip, by the way, sitting on the market for 30 days, it was normal. These guys got used to, first day, multiple offers, 30 fucking above ask offers, waiving appraisal contingencies.
It was a gold rush.
Oh, dude, it was an absolute gold rush. And then it wasn't. But then the real men come out to work. Yeah. And we shine through it.
I think the problem specifically back then was once interest rates turned, people that overpaid got stuck.
Yep.
And then they didn't know what to do.
Yep.
There was too much inventory, and then they got fucked, and they would have to sell at discounts. You know what I mean? If you're not experienced and you don't have people like yourself helping people understand how to make those pivotal changes and how to like really be like self-aware, not just of themselves, of the market. I mean, you're going to put yourself in a position to potentially lose. It's not just, making the decision, all right, I'm going to market, I'm going to get a contract, I'm going to fix the house, I'm going to sell whatever. There's so much more that goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I see it happening right now. I mean, the whole thing with reverse flip, like, as a bona fide strategy. I mean, you've seen me buy deeds since 2019. Right. I've been doing it for quite some time. Shit that nobody wanted to go after.
Right.
I mean, even your own team, you're like, dude, we don't do this shit. Right. Like, and I get it. I don't blame you. But there's a lot of opportunity in it, right? And we've done some deals together, and dude, it's crazy because I'm watching it shift right now in real time. And wholesalers are, again, I love wholesaling, dude. So do you. It gave us the foundation of where we're at today because it's the best. It's sales, marketing, and it's learning how to build a business. Right. I think we owe a lot to the wholesale business model. It allowed us to get into real estate when we had no business being in real estate. You could become an investor with no money, right, virtually. Right. But you got to have a lot of grit. You got to have a lot of tenacity and hustle.
100%.
You got to move
if you want to do it at scale. Yeah. I mean, popping off one deal here and there is whatever, but if you want to do serious numbers, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be the real guy, not the guys hanging out at free events and actually really be those guys.
Not going for the drinks.
Yeah, not going for the drinks at the happy hour and shit. Again, hey, I'm just saying what everybody's thinking. That's all I'm saying. So let's go through 2022 happens. I'll let you tell it, but you guys made a big fucking shift in your business. Or let me say this again. You opened a new channel in your business, which is the holy grail of our business, right? When you start off in wholesaling, it's like, well, you guys got started backwards, right? Fix and flip, then wholesaling. But usually the trajectory is wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and then, commercial multifamily. If you get there, which is, in my opinion, the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, development. Right. Development is like, ooh, right? You think it's sexy and it's cool, but it's a lot of hard fucking work. Oh, yeah. You guys got into development, but not just any kind of development. You're not building onesies and twosies. Right. Okay. So, and I know you're humble and you like to play it down and you like to be cool about it. I'm not, and I'm not going to fucking play that shit down. So I'm going to blow you the fuck up on this one. You guys, I want you to talk about the church deal, the infamous, what is known now as the church deal.
Sure.
Okay? Okay. Because I remember when you called me and you asked me one day, you're like, yo, do you know of any brokers that deal with church properties? Right. And I remember when you asked me that, I was like, Tal has lost it. Yeah. I was like, what?
What the fuck is this guy up to?
Yeah, I was like, all right, we got to stop going out. I was like, it's too much Jameson going on right now. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. Like, everything's been good, Tal, up until this point.
I don't know all the things that can call you nasty.
Yeah, dude. I was like, wait, what? Churches? And you were like, yeah, like somebody that specializes in churches. I'm like, brother, my mother's an ordained minister. That's all. That's the first thing I get. I was like, bro, I've never. But it was great. I was like, damn, that's kind of. I know Tal. I was like, he's got to be onto something.
Why? There must be a reason.
Yeah, I was like, he's got to be onto something here. I mean, this is pretty. I was like, maybe I should research churches. I was like, what the fuck is going on with these churches? This is zoning? Like, what the fuck is going on with these churches? So, talk to the people. You did go on to, and he'll say the statistic, like the actual numbers of it, but you did go on to do a very big deal, which you're breaking ground next year.
Yes.
So he's breaking ground next year. You weathered a shit fucking interest market with that deal. Right. You had the chance to sell that deal, which I'm sure for a lot of money. Right. But you didn't. Right. You decided to partner instead, strategically, which is genius. You retained a ton of equity doing it. And again, I'm giving it away without giving it away. But let's go back to the beginning though. Like that church, what was the story there?
Sure. So
like a quick and dirty.
No worries. So I'll even go back even further. So we knew we always wanted to get into development, and not only development, we just wanted to get into being like landlords, right? And having doors and making all that, all that supplementary.
The mailbox melting money.
That's it. Not having to worry about much. And we kept strategizing. We're thinking to ourselves, all right, well, do we want to be the type of landlord that has like single family here, a triplex here, a 10 unit here, whatever, and just, it might be a nightmare in terms of, maintenance and stuff like that, unless you hire a management company, of course. And we just said,
you got to manage them.
Yeah, right. And we're like, all right, well, what's the most ideal situation is to find the proper site and the proper location that has all the density that you could hope for, and just have it be under one roof, one management company, and really maximize it as best as possible. So obviously, that's the talks that we're having at the time. And
What year is this?
this was around like 2022. Yeah. And so through our marketing, it was direct mail specifically. We actually this is how we got into development. Just think about it for a second.
Yeah.
Through direct mail. Okay.
Through a postcard.
Through a postcard.
A shit fucking Google postcard that we both mailed millions.
We
of.
sent the postcard to this guy that had a duplex, and basically he called us and said, "Hey, I'm not interested in selling this duplex, but I do have a vacant lot in Fort Lauderdale that I think might interest you." And we're like, "Okay, this could be interesting." We didn't know shit about development at the time, right?
Sure.
So then we started analyzing the site, started doing our due diligence. We're like, "Okay, cool. It's a hard corner lot, Fort Lauderdale, up and coming area." To like a tertiary market of like downtown Fort Lauderdale, opportunity zone. There's a lot of CRA grants being given out in the area.
Dude, he's dropping fucking nugget after nugget here. I really want everybody to pay attention. I'm sorry to stop you. He's dropping nuggets here, bro. He's thinking about, hey, this isn't just like they threw a dart at the board and said, oh, well, I guess we'll develop a duplex. No, like these guys are opportunity zone, CRA credits. The zoning is there. It's a tertiary market. Write it down. Keep going.
100%. I mean, there's obviously the tax benefits being that it's in an opportunity zone.
10-year hold.
Exactly. So we're looking at it and we're like trying to make the numbers work. Obviously, like we had it under contract. We ended up getting it for $1 million, and we had our due diligence period. So we're like, okay, it's a hard corner lot. We know the area is up and coming, but it's not that good to where it would attract like a national tenant for ground lease. Like a gas station or like a retail, brick and mortar type of store. So then the next thing was like, all right, so what can we do here in terms of multifamily? It would have to be some sort of like a mixed-use project because of the current underlying.
How big is this lot?
19,000 square feet.
Okay.
So it's really not that big.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Right? But we knew that this piece was in a crucial area, and we knew that eventually it was going to be worth a lot more money. So we figured, all right, well, maybe it's not going to make sense right now, but let's at least try and figure out how we can, buy this and keep it long term for when it's actually worth more money, and then maybe those retailers are going to want to come to this area. Before we decided on exactly what we're going to do with that, we started looking around the remaining portions of that site, or like the neighboring properties. Mm-hmm. So we would look down to the south, we saw vacant parcels, just vacant land. And then we would look to the north, it was just like, streetscape. To the east side, it was a streetscape. And then on the west side, there was a church. Right?
All roads lead to...
Who would have thought?
The church.
Good old church.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, this might be crazy, but what would happen if we could somehow, some way, buy that land and then, basically merge it with ours. It's called assembling. Uh-huh. And then this 19,000 square foot lot would go from 19,000 square feet to almost, 35,000 square feet, almost 3/4 of an acre, right? All of a sudden, that's a game changer, right? You have so many different options, so much more flexibility. You can put more density on there. Now you're talking about something crazy. So then we put our team on it. We reached out to the pastor, and he actually had a listing agent at the time. They wanted something absolutely absurd as far as what the the value of the property was. But we said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Well, what do we have to lose? We still have it under contract, and we knew that we're going to take it down no matter what.
That other land.
That other land.
How much due diligence did you have?
We had about 60 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And so obviously we did, ESA's land studies. We brought on an architect. We did
phase one
feasibility. We did that.
Yeah.
Did an Alta survey. And then, like you mentioned, and most recently to Relationship Capital, right? So we picked up the phone. We said, hey, we sold a couple of guys that we knew that had deep pockets. We got something good. It's not the best right now, but in the future it's going to be really good. It's a great place to park your money, and it could be much better if we can get this piece right next to it. And they're like,
what'd they say?
We trust you blindly, no worries. Just make sure you do your due diligence. We're good to go.
Where did that, because let's touch on that. Where did that Relationship Capital come from? Like what kind of a relationship was that?
Sure, it was just through networking. People that saw our track record in the residential space and saw, what kind of volume we were doing, and the fact that we had really great banking relationships.
Yeah.
City National, Amerant. So they were seeing what we were doing, and they were just looking for an opportunity to invest with us.
And you guys are one of the few guys, now you're really giving me a lot of layups here. You guys were one of the few guys that I know that you got legit commercial lines of credit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had a, what, $3, $4, $5 million line with Citibank and everything?
Yeah, $5 million.
Yeah, and then you were doing fix and flips out of that.
Oh, yeah.
And you were replacing them.
Yeah.
Which is actually another way that we connected deeply at the beginning, which your title attorney at the time wasn't cutting it. Right. And then, you know, introduce you to Gus. But
yeah, it's always important to have an investor-friendly title agent.
Key.
It'll save you a lot of time.
And brain damage.
Shout out Gus.
Shout out Gus.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out you for bringing us the Gus, bro.
Still waiting for my affiliate check, but nonetheless. No, I'm just kidding. It's coming in the
relationship capital.
No, I got listen. I called upon that relationship capital the other day, and that's the only reason that Delray Beach deal got done. Because Gus connected me to that lender because they went to high school together. That deal would not have been done, and that's God willing, a potential $4 million profit on that deal. So, believe me, I'm happy with the relationship capital.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So you're going through this, your relationship capital, your lenders, basically, right?
Yeah.
Guys that were private guys. By the way, guys, these aren't institutional. These are private guys that have money. They're always looking for a good opportunity, and they don't really care about safety. They're not loaning on the project. I'm sure they could give a shit less about the site or whatever. That's semantics. They're loaning on him and on Eric. They're banking on the fact of, hey, these guys are going to do it. These guys are going to do it right. Yeah. Can I trust them? Are they going to run away with the money? No, they're not.
Right.
Do they have a track record? Yes, they do. Right. 500-600 single families. They sing the same song and dance all the time. That's what they're loaning on. They're banking on them, not the site.
We basically were trading opportunity for equity, and that's basically what it was.
Say that again.
We were trading opportunity for them for equity for us.
See that? That's your real. We were trading opportunity for equity. Done. I become quite a marketer. I listen to these things now.
Hey man, doing what I do. So yeah, so we're trading opportunity for. You got me off.
He's like, damn, that was really good. Trademark that shit, Antonio, right now.
Trading opportunity for equity.
Bing! Hit him with the TM.
But to your point, it wasn't just us bringing opportunity, making it happen. It was more, they knew that if it wasn't today, it'll be tomorrow as far as us figuring out exactly what we're going to do with the site. And it's not just being the acquisition guys that are bringing the deals. It's that we're going to be boots on the ground. We're going to bring all the consultants together. We're going to figure out exactly how to develop this to the highest its best use and bring it from a vacant parcel to whatever it's going to produce income in the future to. And that was their confidence with us. So
you still haven't even had a conversation really with the church.
We haven't had a conversation, but we reached out to them.
Yeah.
Like shortly after, and then we said, hey, look, we were interested, blah, blah, blah. They're like, look, this is our price, which was ridiculous. They wanted $2.5 million for like 22,000 square feet.
And what did you want to buy it for? $1.5 million?
Yeah, I mean, shit, as low as possible.
Sure.
We wanted to pay no more than like 30, 40 a foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They wanted way more than that. And so we're like, all right, look, $2.5 million is not going to happen because it doesn't make any sense at that time. What we can do is we can try and find you a replacement. So that way you guys have like a new place to go to and you guys can continue doing your services and stuff like that. And maybe it's an upgrade for you in general. It's just a real estate opportunity that's more expensive and has more value. So then we got together with our team, marketing department and everything. We put together a direct mail campaign, going back to our roots. And we marketed out to religious institutions within, I think it was a one.
Religious institutions.
I swear, it's on the list.
I know.
House of worship.
Yeah, house of worship.
Yeah, within like 1, 2, 5 miles, whatever it was. And we put together this like really interesting letter that was, I think it got a lot of people's attention. We started getting a bunch of calls, small churches, big churches, synagogues, mosques, whatever. Everyone wants to sell. Everyone wants to understand.
Every religion, bro. We don't care.
They're like, what the fuck is this? What? You guys want to buy my church? All right, what's it worth?
What was the gist of the letter? Like, what did it say?
It was just like, we're interested in seeing if you wanted to sell your property. We wanted to give you a cash value, and we also have a network of religious institutions where we can find you a place to either move up to as far as like an upgrade or a downsize.
So they're selling the sizzle on the front end.
Sizzle.
They are selling the dream.
Everybody has a need. And remember, this is like a very, very, very important thing because we're talking about COVID. This is coming out of COVID where a lot of these big institutes were having issues because a lot of elderly people died off because of COVID.
Sure.
You know, it's fucked up, but it's what it was.
No, it's true.
People were not going to services in person, so they were losing a lot of donation money.
Yeah.
So just like, you know, obviously they're tax exempt, but they still have to pay, you know, the bills and make sure that everything is running.
They're hurting.
So a lot of people, you know, they realize they're like, all right, cool, we have a lot of land, but we're losing members, right? We have land in good areas that are up and coming, that are prime for upzoning. There's an opportunity for us to cash out and then just have those additional funds as reserves, and then basically move to something that's a little bit smaller, more manageable. And that's what they looked at as an opportunity, and some other churches that we worked with. And that's a big phenomenon that's been happening in South Florida for years now. Just a lot of land is being rezoned, and you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of new multifamily projects that are being put on there.
It's too many people.
Yeah, and the truth is it's a win-win for both sides, you know, assuming it's a good deal. And every single deal that we made with the church was a win-win for everybody. I mean, I can give you 3 examples of what we did, and they all walked away super happy. We have pictures with them smiling.
I remember.
We got letters of support for our developments now from them. Like, you know, people don't do that and go out of their way.
No.
Happy, you know?
You didn't screw anybody over.
No, not at all. It's not our style.
No, it's never been your style. What's more interesting to me is that you and Eric are both Jewish. Yeah. And not to make it about religion, but I remember like us chatting as friends, and I was like, bro, you guys are buying a Haitian congregation. Like, wasn't that the first one?
Yeah.
That.
Two of them were Haitian and one was American, yeah.
That's an interesting dynamic.
Oh yeah, it was, you know, but we figured it out.
Yeah, I just remember the picture of Eric and you up in the, I don't know if you call it an altar or a stage.
Just put context on what Will's saying. So one of the other churches, and this is actually the main church that Will was talking about with development, they invited us to their 40-year anniversary of them being established as a congregation, and they wanted to just basically break the news of them selling the church to the 350 members that were there. So this was a mainly black congregation. It was actually all black congregation. It was and just me and Eric were just, you know, 2 white Jewish guys there. We're just sitting there, just like, oh shit, we're about to go on stage, and they're about to, like, you know,
these are the buyers.
These are the buyers, and then they put us on stage, and I was just like, I remember I had this like really surreal feeling. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, this is so insane, but at the same time, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, because like you have to put yourself in this position
on
to,
the
like,
moment,
you know, to make these things happen.
That is fucking, dude. So all in all, the first church, right? It was a big acreage.
Yeah.
It was not small.
Right.
It ended up being what?
Right.
How many acres?
So just to go back for a second. So through our marketing efforts to try and find a replacement church for that first church, that was abutting the 19,000 square feet, we then found the next church that you were talking about at the beginning, the one that we just submitted site plans for.
Yeah.
And it was funny because one thing led to another, and it just kept, like, you know, bouncing off each other. And that's how we found all these different opportunities of, like, finding different institutions that had a need to sell, which would then pose an opportunity for us in terms of development. So that church that you're talking about is actually 2 acres, and we assembled everything around that, which took us another year, a little over a year, which was 4 other property owners, and in total it was 2.5 acres.
Wow.
And the zoning at the time was RM25, so it was 25 dwellings per acre. And then we rezoned it to Northwest Rack MUE, which basically says that you can go up to 65 feet by right. If you implement 10% affordable housing, you can go up to 110 feet, and there's no density restrictions, meaning you can fit as many units as you want, so as long as the parking ratio makes sense.
1.5?
So we got it. Well, it's more than that, but we're trying to get it down to 1.3.
Yo, congratulations, dude. That shit was, I've known about this deal for years. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, the jigsaw puzzle that it took to get this.
The timing of all this is pretty funny because we literally submitted about a month ago.
No shit.
Yeah, it's going through DRC right now, and we're at 422 units.
No shit.
8-story mid-rise, rooftop pool, co-working space, gym, clubhouse. Very, very cool.
No shit.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah. Good for you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Really, you deserve that. That all in all took. I mean, how to site plan approval now? From start, how long has that been?
Cool. So the first part of it was for us to, to identify the opportunity, then to assemble, then to rezone, and then after that, obviously, this whole site plan approval phase. So now that we submitted site plans 30 days ago, we're looking at anywhere between 6 to 12 months to get approvals, and then another 3 to 4 months after that to be shovel ready with permits and be able to break ground.
So, but from the start of all of it, the first conversation to this moment right now, how long has that been?
It's been 3.5 years.
3.5 years. This man has stayed with something for 3.5 years. Most of you guys can't cold call for 3.5 fucking days. Okay?
Oh yeah, and there's
I
like
just want to say that.
there's crazy stories on how we we brought all those all those properties together. You know what I mean? I can talk about it for
How many times
hours.
did that deal almost fall apart?
Multiple times. I could tell you that I probably lost like 15, 20 years off my life just putting the deal together. Being dead ass. Serious. Yeah, man. There's so many different moving pieces at the same time. So many contingencies.
But you figured it out.
We figured it out
every time.
Always.
Every time. Mm-hmm. There's two key things though that I want people to take away on that deal specifically. Number one, relationship capital again, because Toothaker really jumped into help out with that. No, it wasn't for me. I was just saying, like, you guys really leveraged that relationship.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate it.
But it was through Glenn.
Yes.
And the timing was perfect.
Shout out to Glenn Lottenberg. Another one of the tribe.
My man.
There it is. He's that guy's more connected than anybody I know. But anyway, Toothaker, which is like the rainmaker of Fort Lauderdale, right? She has a lot of connections.
Yeah.
She knows how to get things done,
right,
how to move, zoning changes. I mean, the zoning change there's so many things I want to touch on this, but before I do that, the second thing too, the way you guys structured that deal,
right,
which again, you don't have to share whatever you can't, but you guys, let's just spit real facts here. Once you guys got all the land and you were at that moment before you close, right? Like, let's just say you knew what you were going to close at, right?
Yep.
Which was what, 5 million or something?
For everything in total, no. Just the church itself was 5.5 million.
Okay.
But the collective site itself was around 10 million.
So 10 million, the whole block,
yep,
right? That's the whole square
exactly,
thing, including the asshole that wanted $1 million for that stupid duplex.
Exactly.
I remember. Exactly. Okay, so that's that. So that's 10 mil.
Yep.
Now you haven't put up the money yet,
right,
but you're about to close,
right,
or you're getting close to it. At that point, you have to know what it's worth to somebody else,
right?
Right? And you had a chance to sell it,
right?
Did you not?
We did.
And what could you have sold it for? Let's say
we could have sold it for around 17 million.
So you could have ripped a quick 7-piece in a soda.
Yeah, and keep in mind this was pre-entitlements too. So to sell a site like that in that area, for that type of gain, pre-entitlements is unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows you how good the area is, and also all those extra benefits. The fact that it was an opportunity zone and things like that.
Well, this is Flagler Village.
Yeah, it's right next to the new Fat Village project. $1 billion+ project that's literally a couple steps away.
Yeah.
So
what? There's got to be a moment. I mean, I know, but for the people watching, there's got to be a moment where you and Eric sit with each other and you're like, "There's 7 mil on the table."
Yes,
at least for a brief moment.
Yes and no. Yes and no, because it's not just what we want. Not saying that we want it to sell at the point. It's also our business partners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're talking about future strategies for these types of sites, you're talking about depreciation. You're talking about these different things. So to them, that's obviously more valuable than just cashing out really quick, because they're just looking at the opportunity cost, right? At the end of the day,
of course,
the replacement cost of something like this, it doesn't happen every day.
No,
it's very, very difficult. You need two guys like us,
3.5
make
years
it happen.
Worth.
Exactly.
Shit.
So, and for him and I think also, we're thinking if we sell it right now, we cash out whatever we're going to cash out. Right, we got a 1031 and put it somewhere. Like, where we're going to put the money? Like, what's better than this? And what's better than this long term?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That you might get 1 or 2 opportunities like that in your lifetime.
Right. So we're thinking like we're just stacking right now. We want to find as many deals as possible. Obviously, if we have an issue with liquidity at a certain point, then you can consider selling something. But that wasn't the case at that time, and we were just considering the fact that not only did we want to keep it long term and have all those extra benefits we just discussed, but we also wanted to understand the entire process, not just just to assembling and rezoning.
Yeah.
We wanted to take it all the way through until we get until we stabilize it.
Right.
And think about that, all those years of construction, and once you get to that point with the property management company and you get tenants in place.
Well, the relationships.
Everything, of course.
I mean, everybody at the city, you were able to help me out on a deal in Fort Lauderdale only because you had relationships and you knew the right person to contact, and, hey, this is what the city would probably be willing to accept. And you facilitated a lot of relationship capital on that side, which, again, would not have happened if you don't go through that project.
Right.
Shaking all the hands and kissing all the babies and the whole thing. And the second thing that you guys did that I think was brilliant was you knew you couldn't do this alone, right? You'd never done a development before. Obviously, this isn't just like a little duplex. This is like, holy shit. This is like going to the Yankees right out of high school, right? Or middle school, rather. at this point, you had to have had a conversation with Eric, and you're like, all right, dude, this is well above our pay grade. We don't want to fuck this up, I would imagine.
Right.
You decided to do something very, very, very important, which was partner with a developer that had done this many, many a times. What does that look like? Because that's guys, that's like a huge look down the line kind of decision. Right.
I think it's extremely important to obviously note on the fact that like you have to keep everything open, right? You can't think about your bottom line and be greedy and think about how much money you're going to make, because number one, it's not feasible for you to get everything done yourself, especially when you're just coming out of our business, right? Flipping and wholesaling. You're like, what the fuck do you know about development at that point in time?
Yeah, you hadn't even built like a new build, the single family.
What do you know what I mean? You're asking literally for a shit show.
Yeah.
Like to run into a burning house. So it's more of like a reality check and like understanding, hey, I want to really understand this at a high level, and I want to learn from people that have already done it, and I'm willing to give up equity. Give up equity, dude. I'm just happy to be in these rooms at that point in time, right? So it's like just finding someone that's really good at that and making sure that whatever we structure is fair for everybody, and that way we can just piggyback off their experience and then get to the point of not only being compensated well for our time, but also learning along the way.
And you retain a good amount of equity for yourself. Good amount of equity. I mean, I won't say the amount, but it's significantly higher than what should have been retained in everybody else's eyes.
Yeah, we did it right.
Yeah, you did all right.
But the beautiful thing is, too, it wasn't just that project. We ended up doing the same thing 3 other times, all within half of a mile. And 3 of the other sites were also churches.
I'm not going to say it, but it's good. It's good.
Appreciate it.
It's good. I'm just saying the churches owe this man a lot, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, I know we kind of like sit here and kind of like joke about it, but like I don't want anything, right? Because like obviously we figured it out and everyone's happy, but like we changed a lot of like hundreds of people's lives.
Thousands, bro.
You know what I mean? Like every single congregation, when I say this, they went into a better place, which will allow them to grow. And I remember like obviously we're talking about that moment about Eric and I being in the church. Like in one second it's crazy, but the other one it's like I'm like, damn, we're gonna impact all these people's lives and their kids and their kids forever. Yeah. Because of where we got them to to relocate to. And
that's incredible,
it's
dude.
Cool. It's very cool, yeah.
Well, you also you set a market too.
Yeah.
In the real estate investing side. Nobody was really, you guys were you are the biggest project there, no?
Yeah. West of the Tracks were one of the biggest projects, yeah.
You came right out of the gate.
We're going to be the first project west of the tracks there with the rooftop pool. So that we're very, very proud about.
Yeah, that is fucking dope.
Well, I'll tell you why. And here's like a nugget for anyone that's like looking into development and stuff like that. Like we're getting to the point now where there's so many different people that are just looking for a rental product, right? Because of just like the inaffordability of buying a house and interest rates and stuff like that, that it's so important for developers to really understand how they're going to develop every single aspect of their project, not just from a layout perspective, but also from an amenity perspective. Like you want to make sure that you have as many tenants fill up your development as quickly as possible. And not just that, but also stay there year after year after year. How do you do that? By making it a place that's inviting.
You don't want to leave.
Right. Like a work, play, live type of place. You know what I mean? That's why we put the co-working space, a huge gym, the rooftop pool. And that
like
took a lot of...
Yeah.
Right. Something similar to that.
Yeah.
So, but that takes a lot of, a lot of experience, a lot of research, being in a lot of different rooms, taking little bits and pieces from different people and like putting it together, making it our own.
No shit.
Yeah.
So how many units you went from wholesaler, flipper, not a landlord ever before this,
right? For
the record. I know, because I was a landlord and I was like, dude, you guys got to start keeping some shit, whatever, but like the onesies and twosies. To First Church, sitting in this chair today, how many units do you have in queue right now?
Sure. So between all the sites that we have over there, they're all in various stages. And that main project that I told you about is the one that's furthest along. But if all goes well, around 1,500 units.
1,500 units. Yeah. So you will go from no landlord to 1,500 units.
Yep.
Someday. Very soon.
It'll trickle in the next couple of years.
Yeah. But by the time you're 40, you'll have a couple thousand doors.
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah. Much more than that.
I'm so fucking proud of you, dude. That's fucking badass, bro. I got a lot of work to do. I'll tell you that right now.
Nah, you're doing a lot, bro.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot.
I appreciate it. That's fucking wow. Wow.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
That one project that we were just talking about, how many doors is that? Because you got an upzoning.
Yeah.
What's the final project going to be?
The main church one?
Yeah.
422.
422 doors, dude.
Yeah.
And what's that going to be worth when it's done? Like the whole value of the project.
Fully stabilized, man. It just depends on where cap rates are. At
Ballpark.
that time. A couple $100 million.
Yeah. 200?
Yeah, something like that, maybe more.
That's fucking wild, dude. That's wild.
Yeah.
And you'll have a ton of equity in that
Yeah,
project.
let's see. Maybe one day, maybe Cardone will come knocking and offer us a stupid low cap rate. Just like he did when he bought, the other projects.
Yeah,
Back in
the
other
waterside 10X.
At that point, it might make sense for us to sell. You know what I mean?
Who knows? You're going to need a big-ass 1031, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if the offer is so crazy that we can't ignore it, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, you'll eat the bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
So what's been the most, because you're still running a wholesale and
Yeah.
flip operation.
Yeah.
How many deals a year are you guys doing still?
About 150, 160.
150, 160.
Yeah.
Still South Florida.
Still South Florida.
What's your number one marketing channel? Direct mail.
Come on,
baby.
man.
Live
and die by the mail pieces, baby. Let's
That's
go.
right, bro. Direct mail, bro, for the win.
But be careful. If you're just getting into the business, it can burn you up real fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
And I did that, and I'll tell you what, it's like this hair on my face. It's not fun.
Tread carefully.
Tread very carefully, and if you're ever going to start direct mail at any stage of your career, especially at the beginning, don't start it unless you can keep it open for 6 months.
100%.
Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah. Direct mail is a very slow nurture, but once it hits, don't ever turn it off
Oh, yeah.
because it's A1.
And the beautiful thing is it can just literally take one deal to pay for your entire year of marketing. But you have to be prepared. Your acquisitions team needs to know how to execute properly, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, and your list has to be good.
Oh, yeah.
But you haven't changed your marketing piece.
No.
In how long?
Dude, you stick with what works.
Yeah. How long have you been mailing out the Google postcard?
It's been years.
Yeah, like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many mail pieces do you think you mailed out in your career? Ballpark.
I mean, tens of millions.
Tens of millions. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm like at 5 million or something.
Yeah.
I don't really mail anymore, but it was a lot.
Tens of millions for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
How many pieces are you mailing out now a month?
250,000.
250,000.
Yeah.
So basically anybody in South Florida that has equity, you're hitting them.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what other marketing channels do you guys have?
Of course, we do, the cold calling, do PPC, PPL.
Which cold calling got a nice upgrade recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
No more
Seriously.
bullshit from these people.
Yeah,
Fucking
texting
DNC.
too.
Yeah, texting too. God, they must be getting bombarded, dude. Bombarded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now.
I think the pendulum's going to swing the other way, but
Yeah.
that's wild.
Shit show,
Yeah, I mean, we got tied down. Remember RVMs?
Of course.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For those young Thundercats that don't know what we're talking about, yes, we're old. They're called ringless voicemails, okay? We were the generation that invented them. It was awesome while it lasted, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, I get those still.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's rare, though.
Yeah.
Like, when I get one, I'm like, oh, shit, I just got an RVM.
Yeah.
Do you remember you used to blast out RVMs, and you would get a deal? From somebody, hey, I just got your voicemail. Yeah, I am interested in selling my property. Like you'd send them to an IVR or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So texting, cold calling, direct mail, and anything else?
Yeah. So we're advertising on streaming platforms now too.
No, no
we
shit.
Actually, we had a couple commercials filmed. We brought a videographer, doing Facebook ads. To be honest with you, we're willing to explore any channel that can show some sort of like a good return. So we're still looking into that. But it's not even just finding new marketing channels. It's continuously redefining and looking into everything that we're already doing. Just making it more and more better.
Yeah. So what constitutes a good return for the guys watching, like on a marketing channel? What do you constitute a good return?
3.5 plus, X return.
So 350% ROI.
Yeah.
Or 3.5x ROAS.
100%, yeah.
You like that, Antonio? Got you with the ROAS.
Yeah.
Return on ad spend.
Yeah.
That's in our world now. It's a little
You guys
different.
know the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not always going to be like that, but like,
No.
But
over time.
Over time.
Yeah. What do you think your return on ad spend is on direct mail all time?
Man, I would.
I'll take a guess. Can I take a guess?
Sure.
All right. I think it's got to be like 600%.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
No, because I'll tell you why. It's like, obviously it's our best marketing channel, but like we've gotten so good at the acquisitions portion of it, and just not even that, just from acquisitions up until the end and maximizing the deal in various aspects, that we really just push it every time,
Yeah. Yeah. What does your team look like today?
Sure. So we have 20 plus employees.
Okay.
Acquisitions department, dispositions department. Of course, Eric and I are at the top. We have 2 transaction coordinators / assistants. We have property management team as well. We have a in-house realtor that lists all of our properties, deals with traditional listings and stuff like that. Those leads that come in that are too expensive, and there's a little bit of a spread, so we try and work with those.
The tweeners.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. So it's collectively we have a nice system, and everyone kind of works with each other in a very, very efficient way. And of course we have our virtual assistants and stuff like that. But the core of the business, really, I want to say, and what makes it run, is collectively every single department. But it's just the cohesiveness of everyone together. Acquisition needs something, and me and Eric would jump in whenever. Dispositions need something. There's a problem, negotiation, we jump in. Transaction coordinators need help with the problematic seller, we jump in. When the contractors isn't showing up, we'll jump in. Obviously, the goal at the end of the day is not to be so involved in your business, but you have to be the type of leader and business owner that you'll jump in a second if your people need you.
Sure.
So that's pretty much how we like to run it.
Yeah, leading from the front is a real thing.
All the time.
Yeah.
And we look, Eric and I are the first people in the office and the last one to leave. So everyone sees that we're working like dogs. So there's no better example, than having that.
Yeah, well, it's leadership comes from the top down.
100%.
You've set. I mean, I know a lot of your employees. You've been rolling with the same guys for a long time.
Oh yeah, we've had people that've been with us for almost 7 years.
Yeah, bro.
And the shortest
you don't do that
tenure,
by mistake.
No, shortest tenure is like a year and a half.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You guys have done a phenomenal job at retention.
Yeah.
Culture, obviously, that's
Culture's
directly
great.
related to culture.
People are making great money. Everyone loves each other. At the end of the day, it's like you want to make it so good for them where they don't have to look elsewhere, but also to where they're feeling like they're learning and they're growing, and it's not just the money.
Yeah. No, I think that's important, bro. You guys have. I mean, you guys run the best operation in South Florida. There's
Appreciate
no question.
you. Thank you, man.
I'll say that without a shadow of the doubt. I'm not in that world anymore, but the wholesale world anymore. But you guys run by far the best ship I've ever seen. From all angles, from a leadership angle, from just a consistency angle, from the fact that you're 1,500 units in tow. You've elevated out of that, but also just the basics, dude. Like, keep it simple, stupid. Oh, yeah. You guys have done a phenomenal job of just sticking to what works, and then you just compound on that shit. Like that produces more money, in my opinion, than anything else, and it produces predictable results.
Right.
Where it's like, dude, we're willing to try something, but we're not going to turn this off.
Right.
Like this is the tree of life. You know.
It's the bread and butter.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly right. It's the bread and butter. It's your brick, in that business.
I think we've come to a point where, we're both in agreement where as long as we can continuously grow doing other things, we're totally fine with being involved with that business.
Yeah.
It's what got us here. It's what's going to keep, our guys fed. It's going to keep us, with the opportunity to leave the lights on, so to speak, and stuff like that. But we're just very good at also managing our time. And I think that's probably why we're able to get into other things.
So what happens now? Because at some point, we've had this conversation off camera a lot of times, but at some point, you got 1,500 units.
Yep.
It's hard to look at a business like wholesale and fix and flip and be like, all right, well, that's producing $10 million a year, let's say. But this one deal produced $30 million. At what point, something's got to give, And I'm not saying you should shut it down or whatever, but something's got to give where C-suite level comes in. You and Eric, obviously, you got to focus on the next step and the bigger step, right? Have you thought about that?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, we're thinking about, obviously creating our own system just for development.
Yeah.
Bringing in-house architects, bringing in-house, assistants and whatever. And just that takes a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of energy. The only way we could do that, which it is in our thoughts, is potentially promoting from within. Maybe having one of the guys that have been with us for a very long time that's proven themselves maybe become a COO or something along those lines. We're not against that, and I think that might be the next move. But that's definitely something that we have to continuously think about.
Mm-hmm. Is it hard to, because identity's rolled up into the other side too. It's who you guys are. It's what you are too. And there's nothing wrong with that. But speaking from personal experience, it's kind of like, ooh, like I haven't done a wholesale deal and I couldn't tell you how long. But it is hard to let go of that sometimes.
Yeah.
When you have something that's, because now I'm a baby in development. I'm in like 27 doors for the record. It's not 1,500. But it is development nonetheless. And using my strategy and all that stuff, I see the power and I see the, oh shit,
right.
Like this is a lot more zeros for, the Delray Beach deal. There was 8 hours
right.
of work there.
Look, I think it's all perspective, right? There's so many different people with different strategies and different viewpoints of what their time is worth. Like, for example, I know some people that won't touch a fix and flip, even if they know they can make 100, 200 grand in like 3, 4, 6 months. Mm-hmm. But for them, they just want to do development only, and they know exactly what their time is worth. And if they don't get that, they're not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
The beautiful thing with what we're doing and how we're set up, to answer your question, it's more so like there's no shut off and shut on, right? We're doing things in tandem. So we're able to learn and leverage everything on the development end with the partners that we brought on. So more of the heavy lifting is with them to bring it from entitlements until stabilization, while we can still figure out how we want to build that team while still running our current operations. So that way we're not deserting anything. So I think because of how we set ourselves up, we can still build it at the same time without affecting our main business.
Keep the main thing, bro.
100%, yeah. And like, it's just like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Now that I know what I know, it's like, why not? It's amazing. Continuously do what we do on a day-to-day and then figure out how we're going to build another system with other employees another way.
Well, it's an opportunity platform, bro. Like, that's what I think so many people miss the boat on the whole entire wholesale business. You're not an investor in that business. Let's be frank, right? You're not an investor. You're really a marketing and sales business,
right?
But you're a lead gen business,
right?
That would you agree?
Agreed.
That's what you are,
right?
The real estate that comes with it is the product,
right?
But you're in the lead gen business. You are running marketing to sellers that you believe need help, that you can fulfill an order on. The house and the real estate just comes with it.
Yep.
Right? And the bigger the problem that you have, usually the bigger the profit.
Right.
Or it should be.
Right.
Right? But that business gives you the opportunity to send a postcard, which leads to a church.
Right.
If you don't have that marketing and sales machine on, you're not buying a church.
It's the gateway.
Yeah, like
the gateway drug.
The gateway drug.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going viral now.
It's true. Wholesaling could take you to development, right? You smoke weed and maybe you'll get into something else. But like, you get the metaphor, the positivity behind it.
Yeah.
It's like you just got to get started, and if you play your cards right and you do things the right way, it can lead to that.
Correct.
And it's not like we got lucky or someone just brought the deal to us. We literally got into development through direct mail. Very, very
When you use the same exact fucking method to chase down a seller, it might be a pastor or it might be the crackhead in Liberty City. It doesn't matter. It's a seller's a seller, an heir's an heir.
Yep. Same entry point of marketing. Obviously, the rest of the process is completely different, but it's the same way to get in.
Yeah. It's the same thing for me. Somebody asked me in the community, they're like, bro, how'd you source this deal? I was like, the same way I source every other deal. It's a seller with a problem.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Right.
It's a seller with a problem. Well, how'd you lock it up? I'm like, the same way I do all my RF deals. A deed and a POA.
Right.
Done. Well, what'd you pay for it? Nothing. Same shit.
Right.
What kind of developer would sell you something for nothing? The kind of developer that's going to be tied in and make $1 million on the exit.
100%.
The kind of developer that was going to auction in 9 days.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I don't even think that's like a valid statement. Like, what kind of developer? There's developers that get stuck all the time.
Thank you.
All the time.
Thank you.
They run out of money and they have a hard money loan. They're bleeding out.
That's exactly what this guy was.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. $25,000 a month carry.
Here's the problem. People think because they're developers and they're
rich.
Sophisticated people, they'll figure it out. Everyone, not everyone. Most people, sometimes they get fucked. They get stuck.
Do you believe that rich people have problems?
Of course.
Do you believe that their problems are bigger or smaller?
Way bigger.
Exactly.
More money, more problems.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. But just choose your problem. You know what 100%. I'm saying? That's I'd rather figure out my problems today, your problems today, then figure out how we're going to eat.
Yeah. Better make sure that your problems pay well.
That's another reel. Boom. Oh, you're on fire today. Now he's getting warmed up, you see? He's loosened up. The engine's on. It's warm.
That's it, bro.
The oil level's good. He's fucking
Halftime just started.
Halftime just started. I love it, dude.
I got sweat, my jersey's on. Let's go.
This guy's got the compression on.
That's it.
So for the young guys, and well, let's just say young guys, right? If you could go back and you're 34 like me now.
Yeah.
All right. It's crazy because you, Eric, me, EP, we all have birthdays like within a 3-week span of each other, which is, again, the universe at work again. If you could go back to Mr. T. Lev at 26, 25. Are you 25 when you started?
25.
Yeah, I was 25 too. If you could go back to T. Lev at 25, looking at it now, what advice would you give that guy? One piece. Think it through.
Don't give up on yourself. Push through it all. What do you think? You've done enough. You're just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
And always try to outdo yourself.
That's 4 pieces of advice, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
It's all very strong.
It's all very strong.
Yeah. But I would tell myself that time after time after time after time. No matter what it is, you just fucking keep going.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you doubt yourself, if you feel like shit one day or whatever it is, or if you think you're a hot shot, you just signed a big deal or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Go back to square one, recalibrate, and just keep going.
It can all change real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
And you asked me earlier, too, you're like, how do you keep grounded and, you know, how you're so humble and all that? It's because I've seen a lot of people fall.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of shit happen. And, like, just like this, man, people can lose it all, like you mentioned. And my style is a little bit different because I've been in a lot of different rooms. I've been fortunate to be in a lot of different rooms, and I've seen how those types of people, you know, they're having these, you know, 10, 20, 50, $100 million conversations carry themselves, and they don't really talk much. And when they talk, it's all valuable stuff.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. Every now and then you have that one guy that fucking likes to, like, you know, babble whatever and lets his, you know, his fancy shit and his ego, you know, lead him and stuff. And that's okay. You know, everyone has their motivating factors. But my style is more so like seeing that I rather analyze things and just kind of like, you know, figure things out along the way versus just like jump out and do that. And I think the more you can keep yourself grounded, the more you can be self-aware, and the more self-aware you can be, the more you can modify things along the way and then limit your exposure to problems.
Some sage advice, bro. That's some sage advice.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't want to get in your own way. And the only way to do that is to be real with yourself. And if you're real with yourself and you're constantly, you know, aware of what you're doing, then maybe you can say, hey, maybe I got to chill out over here. Or maybe I got to do more over here. Or maybe I got to make this a difference. And then you're pivoting, you're modifying. And then you're adjusting to that situation. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no, you know, Will today or me today or whoever it is, there's no one box that you stay in. You have to constantly change. Depending on your environment, depending on the people around you, whatever it is.
Well, things change all the time, and if you don't change, you become irrelevant.
100%.
Real quick.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it. We have enough time in the game now, coming from 2015 and 2017, South Florida specific. Dude, how many changes have we seen in this business?
Oh, my God.
I mean...
a ton.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I remember meeting Pace Morby as a contractor. Like, legit, that's how long we've been at this. You know? Like, and look at where he's at now. You know, just to give one example. How many marketing things, right? I mean, how much shit has come and gone, right? How many big guys have just fairy dust, you know, right. to some ways. I mean, shit, even myself, you know, I've gotten really high up and then boom, right. You know, rode a little close to the sun and had to revamp and get to who I am today. You've gone through so many iterations as a person, same person, but different evolutions of that person, with different goals and different tenure and temperament and all that stuff. You've always been very tempered, though. That's good.
Appreciate it.
Except when you're out and about late at night back in the day. That's not a tempered man. Yeah. I'll tell you that.
Well, look, it's a part of it's a part of also like, you know, like in a serious note of like, you know, manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Like Tal, the young guy that goes out to parties, making some money, investing, doing wholesaling, flipping, whatever, is not the same guy that's going to be Tal that's the developer, right? And like I had to make that big, switch mentally. It's like, do I want to be that guy?
Mm.
Well, I got to fucking think like that guy. And I got to act like that guy.
Yeah.
And I got to talk like that guy. And I got to change a lot of things and cut a lot of things out and bring a lot of new things in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
cut a lot of things out, like what? Because I think guys need to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, just anything that's going to distract you. You know what I mean? Being around the wrong people, going out late nights, late mornings, drinking, partying, all that. Don't get me wrong. Everything serves its purpose. Mm-hmm. If there's a point in your life where you have to party and you have to go and you have to have fun and do all that, get it done, get out the way. But when you decide to be serious, that's it. You're 100% locked and loaded and you're ready to go. There's no room for both. You can't sit here and be the same person that says, hey, man, I want to be the greatest ever at whatever I do, but then also do all this, crazy shit. If it's a point in your life where you're supposed to go through and you're going to have fun and all that, cool. Then at a certain point, just close it out completely and just focus, and then, you'll get to where you want to get to.
Yeah, I always say, I mean, I don't think you could have been more right on what you just said, but I always say every level has a new devil, I used to think naively, get $1 million, there's not going to be any more problems, it's gonna fade away, I'll be okay. Do you get $1 million at any age? It's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a blessing. Amazing. I wouldn't have it the other way. Right? I'd rather have it than not have it. But would you agree? It comes with its own set of problems.
Of course. You
have totally different conversations. People come after you. Shit, I'm in a lawsuit, almost 3 years.
Right.
From some dipshit, that completely, I am unrightly or unjustly, chased for that shit. But again, it's because of the perception of, success, this guy, let's go after him,
right,
etc. It's happened to you in different cases too, right? I tell all the young guys too, man, you better, every level requires a different version of you, and you have to drop weight to get lighter to go up.
Without a doubt.
You cannot bring that baggage bullshit with you.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
I didn't invent it. He didn't invent the rules. It's just how it is.
Right.
And you see the difference between 99% and him in his his vertical is sacrifice, discipline. Commitment. Those 3 words, that's it. He's not willing to put himself in a scenario to be eating shit to get in trouble. He can't right now.
Nope. Not at all.
He can't. He cannot afford to one sidestep. And it's not that he doesn't live his life, but you start thinking of things differently.
100%.
You're like, dude, I can't be here with a bunch of dipshits. Like some guy, whatever, does this, that. Like, dude, I can't be here and shit. I can't, I can't do that. I can't do this.
Right.
Or I don't want to, better said. It's not like you can't, I can't live my life. You just can't afford to. When you get to that level of responsibility, that's where I see a lot of guys trip up.
Yeah.
On their way up to that. They're just not willing to let go of that one thing, whatever that is.
Right. I look at myself now, I guess at this point, in more of like that metaphoric sense, like an engine.
Yeah.
And I just got to make sure that this engine has all the best parts, being serviced the best way possible. And what that means for us as humans is obviously the right environment, the right food, the right exercise, making sure that you have the right thoughts going up in your mind, making sure you're taking care of yourself, making sure you're being consistent, making sure you're getting enough sleep, doing all of that. I mean, if you're not doing all these things either, just like the, bare bone basic.
They're all in your control.
It's all decision at the end of the day.
That's right.
You know what I mean? No one's going to do this for you, and you can't blame other people for your problems.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not those.
You got to stack all these different habits, and you got to make sure that you're doing them consistently. And then, you know what? Something crazy like you becoming a successful developer might just happen if you just stick with it, you believe in yourself, and you do the right things.
And also, I will echo his point, as a man who you choose to spend your life with. That's
Huge.
very important.
Huge.
That's very important. I mean, you and I have seen more guys get taken out by a divorce or a toxic relationship than bankruptcy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
I'll take all the bad business deals you can send, but you make that fuck up of a decision, bon voyage.
100%. It's so important.
It'll derail everything you got going on. It really is.
It ruins so many people.
Yeah. And friendships too, man.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. The honorable thing, like, oh, man, I've known him for a long time. Yeah, but he might be bad for you, bro.
Yeah.
Might not be a good friend.
100%.
Yeah, he's that boy that you got, but he ain't rolling with you.
Yeah.
And he's coming with other shit. Or she, whatever it is. But you got to be able to...
Yeah.
Because the guys that are in the rooms that you're in and the rooms that I'm in today, they don't care.
No, they
don't want to know about it.
They don't give a shit. And this is like something huge, and I think you talk about this all the time. People need to recognize when they have someone around them, and it might be someone that's been with them for years, someone that's disguised, I hate to use that word, as like a really close friend or a friend or whatever, that sees you change or becoming better and improving. They don't like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They don't want to see you be better than them. And you might just have to cut those people out, and you have to make sure that you're aware of who you surround yourself with. Because, again, you want to be in that room that talks about $1, $5, $10, $20 million. You know, you're going to be around different people. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different situation. But it's also not just making your network your net worth, but it's also making sure that you're cutting all the dead weight.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. And again, there's some of these situations, there is no room for error.
No.
There's no room for error, you know? And it's just cut all the bullshit out. And that's what I always try to instill in like the RF Pro community guys that are higher level guys. They're paying top tier, but it's not just even about the pay. I think they're getting a steal. But anyway, they're paying top tier to be there. Bro, the first thing I shift is their mindset. You're not where you want to be because you have a relationship with money that's different. Period. That's it. But that comes from an internal self-worth thing. You still want to go out there and do all these Mickey Mouse shit and, oh, what's the cheapest lead? And you can hear it in the way that somebody speaks to you.
Right.
Right? They're like, hey, what's the cheapest way to get... I'm like, don't come near me, dude. Don't talk to me about cheap, bro, because cheap is synonymous with shit.
Right.
I don't care about cheap, bro. Would you and I already know this, but like, would you rather speak to 1,000 people to get a deal, or would you rather speak to 20 and pay 4 times as much?
Right.
4 times as much. Yeah. Shit, I'll pay 8 times as much, dude, to speak to 10.
100%.
100%, because I value my time and I value where we're going.
100%. Period.
And I want to deal with a certain caliber of person. Right. I'll pay people more money. I'll pay more money to be in a room so others can't get in.
Right.
Would you?
Yeah.
100%, dude.
No, 100%. That's like a broken mindset problem, though. People that don't have the right leadership or people around them. You know, listen, I don't blame them. That's how, you know, most of the world is you know, taught to go about life. You know, it's like volume, cheap. No, but that's not how it works.
This isn't Walmart.
You know, you need someone like yourself that can actually show them what's the right way to do it, because you've had your fair share of experiences, and you paid your fucking dues. Yeah. You spent a lot of money on masterminds and coaches and
over $1 million
and marketing and systems and all that, you know, so 100%.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think, you know, it goes unsaid. You're always learning. Like you know, I look at you, go into development, bro, you probably know 1% of all of development, if that were like a thing. You know, me, I know 1% of whatever it is that I think I know. And that's probably true, honestly. And look at the amount of shit that we've accomplished. Yet and still, like, what makes people think that if we're still learning, that you're just all of a sudden going to figure it all out?
Right.
By buying some fucking YouTube course.
Right. 100%.
Like, what? Like, you are warped in the mind, dude.
Right.
There's no way, bro.
100%.
There's no way.
No.
There's almost 2 decades of experience here, and we're 34, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
and it never ends.
No.
It never ends. You wake up, you got to learn something new, you got to adjust something else. You know what I mean? It never ends.
How many times you get into a deal and you're like, damn, I didn't see that shit coming.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Or this is new.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
What the fuck is this, you know?
What is that?
Yeah.
We had another one the other day. It was a Department of Justice lien, a DOJ lien. $11 million pop up on title. Like, what? For restitutions. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, but don't fear. We mitigated it down to $85K in a week.
There you go.
They usually take 8 months to mitigate.
11 million to 85K?
11 million to 85K. Another reel for you, boss. Bow! Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. And we still made like 70 grand on the deal. But it was a $150,000 deal. But the DOJ lady said, not today. So they got me. I don't know. Good karma for the DOJ fund.
Wow.
You're welcome, DOJ. Yeah, we paid it. There was no way around it. But we got a way around it. Like you know, we figured out a way to get it done. Everybody said it couldn't be done. Like, oh no, DOJ's. I love when I hear shit like that, man. Especially like, I'm sure you hear it, but I love when I hear shit like that. People are like, oh no, man. Nah, you just can't do that.
Right.
I'm like, no. You can't do that.
Right.
Don't fucking put that shit on me.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Don't fucking tell me what I can't do, bro. Because in my mind, dude, I can do anything.
Yeah. I see that all the time too. Sometimes in development too. Like, you know, there's gatekeepers and there's people that have their opinions on certain things, but it's like, I don't know if I agree with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really convinced that this can't be done or we can't push this through. You know, let me just see.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. I'm like, who the fuck wrote this playbook? Like, you know, with the RF shit. The people are like, oh, you can't do that with a short sale. I'm like, who the fuck said? Where the fuck is the playbook that said that? Oh, no, you can't get a development deal like that. I'm like, well, why? But said who? You can't upzone a church. Said who? Who the fuck? Shit's been sitting there.
Right.
Everything was, I mean, it's so stupid to think. Everything, once upon a time, was an idea. And at some point, someone hadn't executed that idea. Then all of a sudden, somebody does it. Right. Rockefeller turns kerosene into petroleum.
Right.
And now the whole world is different, right? You know, Zuckerberg sees MySpace and says, wait a minute. Boom, now it's Facebook. Right. Now this is the norm. This is a standard. Teslas drive around everywhere. Right. A Prius used to suck. And it was half gas, half fucking whatever the fuck it is, the hybrid batteries. Now it's 100% electric. Right? This dude's launching rockets into space that land themselves, so he doesn't have to blow them up. But look at that. Somebody told him, no, you can't land a rocket like that. So you just blow them up every single time? Yeah. Okay, watch this. Yeah. Hold my beer. Check this out. And I think that's what you're doing in development. I'm so happy to fucking see somebody that I personally, you know, love and believe in, but also that comes from our world, jump into that world, which I'm happy with Mike to jump into the development world. Once they let me out of the cage, it ain't stopping, you know, because we have such a different, we're used to looking at serious problems. We are accustomed to looking for all the shit shows that we've been through in the single family resi space. The average developer is lazy. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
They're used to, here you go.
Yeah.
They bring them to you.
Things are more convenient. There's no urgency, really.
No.
You know what I mean? It's more just fine detail and sophistication. But that hustle and that grit, you don't really see that.
It ain't there. It ain't there. And I think that's why, I mean, every other developer should have seen this deal that you did, right? Yep. You got Styles, you got this one, you got that one.
Many have tried. A lot of people went to the church and they tried to get it, and some of the other churches, but, you know, I guess they didn't want it as bad as we did.
And we'll end on that note. So any final thoughts? I mean, where can people find you? That kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. So I'm on Instagram. My handle is t.lev. T-Lev, as you said.
T-Money, baby.
My only thing that's left to say is believe in yourself. Continue to nurture yourself. Continue to spend money on yourself. Continue developing yourself. Continue leveling up. Continue changing your mindset. Continue surrounding yourself with the best people possible. Make sure that you're always doing the right thing that's best for you, not only in the short term, but in the long term. Have an abundance mindset. Make sure that if you're going to have someone that's going to influence you, that's around you, they're influencing you with the right things and have your best interests at heart. And make sure that you work with this guy.
That is a plug. Beep. Drop the link below, baby. I love you, buddy. Thank you for coming out.
Of course, man.
I mean it. This was a really fun one, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I really do.